So today we're working on rhythm. Rhythm's hard to do, especially when you're out on trail, when you're trying to work on their gait because it goes up and downhill. So when I'm really working on their gait, I use an arena or a road because it's so much easier. When you're going up and down, this is difficult. So we are now working on Luke's flat walk. This was the forward horse, and she's doing well. The first time around we didn't keep the rhythm so well. In other words, we were going slow and then fast and slow and then fast. So this is better for her flat walk. Barry's a little bit slow. So a little faster. So the hard part is going a little faster and not too fast. Because again, we're trying to stay at the flat walk. That's good. Sorry for screaming into the microphone. So keeping that rhythm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 is hard, especially once the horse relaxes, they're probably going to slow down. And you're like, well, he was going, now he's slowing down. But now we're working on the flat walk, so now we got to change things a little bit. Okay, so keep that same rhythm. And then when you get to the downhills, with him, we're going to walk, stop, because he has such a big stride that no one will be able to keep up with him. So it's getting better. It's much better. We're almost have the consistent speed all the way around, and she didn't the first time, so that's great. So I told her as we go down the hill, she's supposed to walk and then stop. And then let him stand there for a bit, and then she'll walk off again. And then she's going to stop again. Like 10 to 20 steps. Let's see how many steps she goes. That's good. And then she's going to stand again. So I told her going down this hill to stop him at least 5 times. So what we're teaching him to do is rock back on his hocks, because walking horses are lanky and they can really run down those hills, and to be slower, and that way she'll be able to ride with other riders. And if he's going too fast, she can just walk, stop, and wait for them, and this horse will be used to doing that, so it won't be such a big deal when they're riding out with other people. So remember, walk stop is a pretty good exercise. If your horse is antsy and he wants to rear up when he stops, then you stop just for a second the first time, and each time you do it, you add another second until he gets used to it. Or give him a little piece of food or a little scratch or something he likes, so he'll want to stop. So she did this fantastic this time. So she's much slower, he's rocking back on his hocks, and he's just standing and not throwing a fit. So we're going to try our flat walk again, because I want to see if we can make it just a little bit better. Gary got a little fast going down the hill, but she stopped him, so that was good. Yeah, I'm being chased by a yellow jacket, so I lost where she is. There she is. Oops, there we go. So she's got a good flat walk. That looks good! She's keeping a nice rhythm. We don't want to go any faster, so if he did start getting faster, would half halt. You'll see her position's very nice. She's relaxed. There, he's getting a little slower. So just a little faster. I was waiting to see if she got it or not. Okay, and then we're going to walk, stop down the hill again. Okay, so now we're trying to work at our running walk. She came up the hill pretty good. Remember, your running walk should be faster than what your flat walk was. So she's doing pretty good. But it's not super fast. Everybody thinks it's flying and they step pace or rack instead of their running walk. You still should have the head shaking, which he is. And this horse has a lot of speed. So that is faster than he was going. You'll see as he kind of goes down in the gullies, he speeds up too much though. So I'm going to have her half halt and kind of sit back a little bit more when she sees a gully, and have her do it a step or two ahead of time. And then going down the hill, I'm going to have her stop just as much. The last time she didn't stop as often, and he got really swinging his stride out, and if somebody was with her, they would have been left in the dust, you know, unless it was another walking horse. So it's easy to speed these guys up. It's usually much harder to teach them to go slow because nobody's done that. So I always try to get them to go slow and comfortable first, and then going faster with other people is usually pretty easy. So now That's better. She was almost going too fast. That's better. Just keep that. See, if they're doing a running walk, their head's shaking. If it's a walking horse, that is. So there she did much better with the speed and keeping the same rhythm. But now the hard thing if you're practicing, it's great if you have a pasture or something like this and a Gaye horse, because you get them going, then you got to go downhill, so then you got to slow them back down. So it's like practicing transitions in the arena, you know, where you're on a regular horse, you would be trotting and then you walk again. So this is how you get these guys better. You practice going fast, then you practice going slow, then you practice going fast, and you practice going slow, so it just becomes a normal part of what they think they're supposed to do instead of being stuck on go their whole time. So we're still working on our running walk. Some of the time it was too slow, some of the time it was too fast, and this is what happens to all of us, okay, as we're working on it. So we're trying to get them at the right speed without fighting them, and this guy likes to start flying forward if we go too fast. And some of the horses will do different things. So when he goes to hit it and he starts to go fast, he will throw that head up some. So I told her to slide the bit across his tongue as she's picking up speed to try to avoid him kicking it forward and trying to go faster with her. See, he's trying it a little bit there. That's it, and she got his head down, so that helped. That was good. That's a good speed. So she's doing good. But of course we taught him to put his head down, so when he brought it up and she slid the bit, he goes, oh yes ma'am, I'll put my head down. So much better. And it might not look fast, but that's fast. Most people try to go too fast and then they just step pace or rack or pace. That's it. That's beautiful. She's doing a lovely job, especially with the distractions of other horses and things going on. Okay, so now she's going down the hill, but she's doing well. So I made her do this over and over again, going around at the flat walk and the running walk until I made sure both were good. And now we're going to actually go the other direction. But I always make sure the one direction is good before we go the other way. Okay, so if your horse isn't good, you just keep working on it, because if you quit when they're not good, they think that's the right answer. So you might have to do it 3 times, you might have to do it 20 times. But the next time, the horse will understand. Now we're going the other direction, so we're starting all over again. So we're going first to just a slow trail walk. She's going to do that all the way around. Because remember, your horses have to be able to go fast, but they also have to come back and be able to be slow and not antsy. And they can't do that unless you practice it. And the best place to practice it is at home, not with 20 other horses on some trail ride. So you got to get them to be able to do it here first, and then with other horses, and then on the trail. But you start out with, you know, 1 horse, and then once they're good with 1 horse, then you can go to 2 horses. Once they're good with 2 horses, then 3 horses. Most people have a problem because they ride with 1 or 2 horses and then they go out in groups of 50. It just doesn't work like that. Okay? That's like me giving you a little job and then saying, hey, good luck running the business, I'll see you tomorrow. Okay, so you got to slowly build it up, prepare your horse, and then you won't have as many issues and you won't have as much dangerous stuff either. And I always tell people, if you're going on one of those rides, you know, you lunge the heck out of your horse or round pen the heck out of your horse before you go, and then when you arrive there, if your horse is kooky, you just do it all over again. And you might spend 3 hours preparing them that first time to get ready for it. But it's better to be safe than to get launched off, you know, bucked, reared, any of those crazy things. You want to prepare your horse, be safe, otherwise you don't ride it that day. If you arrive somewhere and they're crazy, well, I guess you're just gonna, you know, have them tied to the trailer all day so they get used to the stuff, and that's what they do at horse shows in the beginning. So it's better not to go on the ride than to take a ride to the hospital. He looks so pretty, doesn't he? So again, this is just his trail walk, not his flat walk. Okay, so now we're flat walking this direction. No, he's going towards the barn is the hard place. That's where he lives over there. So that's a good speed. Keep going. So going uphill, they'll always usually slow down or they'll go too fast. So it's one or the other. At least it's only two choices. So she's doing good. Mary's a little slow. But it's hard when you're up there to feel that rhythm. Keeping the rhythm is one of the hardest things with your gaited horse. So once she gets past the bush and up by these other horses, it starts going downhill. And so when she's going downhill, I told her to slow down. She's doing everything right. So if you go too fast downhill, you're going to make your horses pacey. So if it's on the trotty side, that's something you might want to do, but if it's a pacey horse, you got to slow it way down going down the hill. And again, these guys who really swing their legs and drag their feet, they can be a little trippy, so you want to make sure they rock back on their back end when they're going downhill and go slow and take tinier steps, and then they're usually much more sure-footed, and it feels much safer when you're up there. Okay, so she did that so well that now we're just going to the running walk, so we only had a flat walk once that direction. She's doing good because his head was a little high in the beginning. Now she got it down. You see he's shaking his head. You can see his legs are completely separate, which is good. He's not pacey, but this horse trots usually when he's loose or gait. So again, if your horse is pacey, you know, it might not be as bred as well. You can make it better, but probably can't make it look like this horse. Sometimes people don't know that, so it's a lot in the breeding and then the training. So now she's going downhill. She's still doing good. So it's not going to be as fast because she's going downhill. But she's still moving. You can even see his ears flop once in a while. There he got a little too high-headed. So she slid the bit to get his head back down and she slowed down. So again, a lot of that riding these horses is knowing what to do, what speed to go, and how to help them. And this will be a little bit different. This is a walking horse, so it's going to be a little bit different if you have a Rocky or a Foxtrotter, depending what that horse is doing and what gait you're trying to get out of them. But it's still the same thing with this speed control. Keeping the same rhythm, trying to keep the same speed. So now she's going downhill and you'll see she slowed down a lot. So she did everything right. Okay, so see how she's got him back to walking to slow? And then once she gets past the turn, then she's going to go back up to her running walk. But see, he's nice and calm. He wasn't throwing his head or doing anything. That looks good. His head's fine. Again, now she's going downhill, so now I like them to slow down and keep them back on their hocks. Otherwise, horses just throw themselves down the hill and they just swing and throw their feet, and then they're really not using themselves or balancing themselves. Yeah, so I think that's a pretty picture, and she's doing a great job. There he got just a little fast and got his head up. You'll see he went there. She's part of the whole thing of learning is it's not going to be perfect every time, and sometimes it's just quite horrible to start, but it should get better every day. But the process of learning is knowing things that are happening, even if you can't fix it, you can actually recognize it. So she can actually recognize when his head's too high, she can recognize when he's going too fast, and when he's going towards a step pace. So even though that might happen here and there, she understands it now, and he's learning that we don't want to do that anymore. And that's how you get better. Okay, so remember, you're going to have good days and bad days, but sometimes those bad days will teach you a lot, and then after that, you'll have a lot of good days in time. And then it should just get better and better if you're doing it correctly. See, he's come back to totally calm now.